Hi students, my name is Angela. Welcome to another session of biology, and today we shall learn about nutrition. Every living organism, be it bacteria, plants or animals, manufacture or consume food. Why do they need food? Food is required for survival, for maintenance, for control, coordination and for reproduction. All the activities in a cell or a tissue or an organ, literally speaking, the very existence of any organism is subjected to the availability of food. This requirement of food is called nutritional requirement.
Nutrients mainly include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, etc. We obtain all these nutrients from the food materials we eat. These food materials are oxidized in the body to generate energy. This generated energy is used for various activities like functioning of the heart and for blood circulation, for thinking and analyzing issues, during playing games, for bodybuilding, etc.
After understanding the basic information and need for nutrients, we shall now classify the type of nutrients. Nutrients are broadly classified into macronutrients and micronutrients. This classification is made based on the amount of nutrients required by the body. As the name indicates, macro means large. Thus, macronutrients are the substances that are required in large quantities. Example, proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Similarly, the word micro means small, which indicates that these elements are required in small quantity. Example, minerals and vitamins. Here, we should remember one thing. Though food provides all the nutrients that are required for the body, food that we eat may or may not contain all the nutrients required for the body. Confused? Let us look at this animation.
What can you see here? Yes, rice that we eat has more carbohydrates than proteins, while meat has more proteins than carbohydrates. Thus, if we eat either meat or rice alone, we will be missing either proteins or carbohydrates. If we eat both, we will get both the nutrients.
Carbohydrates in simple terms are called as sugars. The name carbohydrates are given to these group of compounds because they contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrates form the major back of our food and it is the initial and immediate source of energy. Let us now classify the carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates are classified into simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates can contain only one molecule of sugar. These simple carbohydrates include glucose, fructose, galactose, ribose and deoxyribose. Simple carbohydrates are ready to digest and absorb. Complex carbohydrates have more than one sugar molecule in them. These complex forms break down into simple sugars in the digestive system by hydrolysis for absorption. They include lactose, sucrose and starch.
There are specific enzymes for the breakdown of the complex sugars into simple sugar. These include
sucrose is broken down into glucose and fructose by the enzyme sucrase.
It is interesting to note that some sugars like cellulose present in plant cells are not digested in our body because human digestive system lacks the enzyme cellulase. But animals like cow, rabbits, etc. can digest it because they depend mostly on plant products. Here, we may get a doubt if we do not have cellulose in our body, then how does cellulose in the leafy vegetables help us? Cellulose weight to the food we eat and help in the smooth movement of food in digestive system. This smooth movement helps in proper and efficient absorption of the food.
Now let us look at the fate of carbohydrates from diet.
Proteins are the building blocks of our body. This title is given to proteins because proteins are necessary for almost every structure and every metabolic activity of our body.
Proteins are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. The basic or fundamental unit of protein is called amino acid. In nature, there are 24 amino acids. Of these, 20 are present in most of the proteins. The proteins are like a chain of beads in a necklace. In this chain, the amino acids are arranged one after the other, and the sequence of amino acids determine the nature of protein. Proteins are present in all parts of the body. Let us start with hair and nails. They contain keratin, which is a protein. Our teeth contain dentine, which is also a protein. Similarly, the melanin is present in our skin, and this is also a protein. Our bones contain proteins, collagen. Blood vessels are maintaining the flow because of proteins in them. Even muscles contain proteins.
The proteins that we eat are broken down by proteolytic enzymes in the digestive system into amino acids. The amino acids can be classified into two groups. 1. Essential amino acids which cannot be synthesized by the body. And 2. Non-essential amino acids which can be synthesized by the body.
Let us focus on the following table, which gives the information regarding the essential and non-essential amino acids. From the above table, we can say there are 9 essential amino acids and 12 non-essential amino acids. Let's look at the sources of proteins. Proteins are from both animal and plant sources. Animal sources include milk, meat, eggs, cheese and fish, etc. Plant sources include legumes, cereals, beans, nuts, etc.
The proteins that have all the essential amino acids in the required proportions for the promotion of proper growth of the body are called biologically complete proteins. Examples of these include meat, milk, egg proteins. While the proteins that completely lack one or more essential amino acids, thus not promoting growth, are called biologically incomplete proteins. Examples of these proteins are proteins from vegetables, grains and fruits. Students, now let us move on to fats. Fats or lipids are of great importance to the body as a chief storage form of energy. Besides their role in the structure and various biological functions of the cell. Fats are esters of fatty acids and glycerol. Both fatty acids and glycerol contains in their structure carbon, hydrogen and oxygen.
Fats are solids at 20 degrees Celsius. If it is a liquid at that temperature, then it is called as oil. Hence, oils are liquids form of fats. Fats are digested by hydrolysis into fatty acids and glycerols. The fats are classified into two groups based on the double bond present in their structure. If a double bond is present in the structure, then they are called as unsaturated fatty acids, and if double bond is not present, then they are called as saturated fatty acids.
Some of the unsaturated fatty acids like linoleic acid, linolenic acid, arachidonic acid are not synthesized in the body and therefore should be supplied in the diet. Thus, they are called as essential fatty acids.
Fats, just like proteins, have plant and animal origin. Ghee, butter, milk, eggs, cheese and meat are from animal origin, while fats from plants are used mostly in the form of oils such as groundnut oil, mustard oil, sesame oil, coconut oil and palm oil. Fats from animal origin contain more amounts of saturated fatty acids than unsaturated forms, while fats, that is, oil extracted from plants, show good amounts of unsaturated fatty acids compared to animal fat. Vanaspati or dalda is prepared from converting unsaturated fatty acids present in vegetable oil to saturated forms.
Students, you must be hearing a lot about cholesterol a lot these days. What is this cholesterol? Cholesterol is also a type of fat. It is exclusively found in animals and their products, and it is the most abundant animal fat.
Consumption of food containing cholesterol is very essential to life as it performs a number of important biological functions. But too much consumption of food containing fat, that is saturated fatty acids, and cholesterol can cause serious illnesses. Look at the following illustration. Here you can see a normal functioning of artery. Now look at the artery where excess cholesterol and saturated fatty acids deposit on the arterial wall. You can observe that blood supply is reduced in the artery deposited with fatty layer. This insufficient flow of blood is the reason for heart attacks.
Hence, it is advisable to eat controlled amounts of saturated fatty acids and cholesterol, while this can be compensated by large amounts of unsaturated fatty acids. Minerals are the inorganic elements constituting only a small portion of the body weight. There is a wide variation in their body content. For instance, calcium constitutes about 2% of the body weight, while cobalt about 0.00004%. There are more than 50 minerals in the human body. Minerals perform various vital functions in body which are absolutely essential for the very existence of the organism. They are required for growth, repair, regulation of osmotic pressure, etc.
Based on the amounts of minerals present in the body, minerals are broadly classified into major or principal elements and trace elements. There are 7 principal elements constituting 60 to 80% of the body's inorganic material. These are calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium and sulfur. The trace elements include manganese, molybdenum, selenium, zinc, chromium, fluorine, iron, copper, etc.
Let us see some facts about these minerals.
Sodium is the major cation in the extracellular fluid. Potassium is abundantly present cation in the intracellular fluid. Chlorine is the major anion of the body. Calcium is the most abundant among the minerals of the body. Most of the minerals are present in the diet we take. Also, some of the minerals like chlorine, fluorine, etc. are present in sufficient amounts in the water. In addition, salt that we add to the food for taste or for preservation has abundant amounts of iodine in it.
As we discussed before, calcium is the most abundant among all the minerals of the body, and it is a major element required for the body. The total content of the calcium is about 1.5% to 2% of the body weight of the adult man. As much as 99% of the calcium is present in bones and teeth. The remaining 1% present outside the bones and the teeth performs many important functions. On an average, we require about 400 to 500 milligrams of calcium per day. Let us see the important functions of calcium.
Calcium is required for formation of bones and teeth. Calcium is necessary for blood coagulation, that is clotting. Calcium is required for production of milk in lactating mothers. And calcium helps in muscle contractions.
Iron is one of the major trace elements required by the body. Most of the iron in the body is seen as a component of hemoglobin. It is this iron present in the hemoglobin which actually helps in transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Iron is richly present in animal meat and various animal parts like liver, kidneys, etc. Leafy vegetables, cereals, pulses, dry fruits are also a good source of iron. Most of the iodine is present in thyroid glands. Iodine is required for the production of thyroid gland hormones, and it is only function of iodine. Therefore, the deficiency of iodine results in hypothyroidism, which results in the enlargement of thyroid gland. This enlargement of thyroid gland is called as goiter. Also, hyperthyroidism is characterized by reduction in growth.
An average adult requires about 100 to 150 milligrams per day. The main source of iodine is seafoods and drinking water. To prevent these iodine deficiencies, our government has passed strict rules to use only iodized salts. Just as calcium, fluorine is mostly found in bones and teeth. It is required for the proper formation of bones and enamel on the teeth, also preventing the occurrence of dental caries. Drinking water, especially the groundwater with dissolved fluorine, is the main source. The beneficial effects of fluoride in trace amounts are overshadowed by its harmful effects caused by excess consumption. In some areas like Nalagonda, Prakasham, drinking water has large amounts of fluoride. Thus, the people in these areas consume excess of fluorine than required, thus leading to disease called fluorosis.
The image shows the teeth affected with excess fluorine. Observe yellow and brown patches on the surface, which is the characteristic feature of dental fluorosis. This is an image showing severe bone deformations, which is the characteristic feature of skeletal fluorosis. These people cannot stand erect and perform their routine activities.
Water is the solvent of life. Undoubtedly, water is the most important than any other single compound of life. It is the most essential constituent of life. If there is no water, there is no life. An adult human contains about 60% of water. Of this, 90% is present in protoplasm.
Water in our body is obtained by three sources: water taken in the form of drinking water, beverages, and also water content of solid food like vegetables.
There are many body functions of water. Some of them are: water provides an aqueous medium to the organism. Water acts as a vehicle for the transport of solutes. Water is also closely associated with the regulation of body temperature. Water is a source of oxygen in many aquatic animals like hydra, amoeba, and fish. After a detailed discussion of various nutrients required by our body, it is worthwhile to discuss the suitable diet for man. In the starting of this session, we have learned that all the food types do not provide all the nutrients in the required amounts to the body. Hence, it is necessary to provide all the required quantities of the nutrients to the body for good growth and development.
Look at this boy initially feeding on milk, who later during his growing state was given balanced diet containing all the required nutrients, thus growing into an healthy adult. Such a need is the balanced diet in our lives.
The composition of balanced diet differs from males to females and from children to adults. Look at this table.